All right, let's hear some Moment with Bob music to put us in the mood. Can you bring that up a little bit? It's such a lovely tune. Another Moment with Bob, brought to you by your friends at Offshore Drilling and Mountaintop Removal. This moment is entitled, I'm Not on Drugs, Maybe I'm Dreaming. Hey, Mike. You can find just about anything on the internet. I was looking for the right words to describe a state of mind, so I clicked on Google, typed in anxiety dream, and in 0.39 seconds, Google served up over 58 million entries. I didn't need to look any further than the first one, which said, an anxiety dream is an unpleasant dream which is less disturbing than a nightmare. Anxiety dreams are characterized by the feeling of unease, distress, or apprehension in the dreamer upon waking. Now that's exactly what I was looking for. Ain't technology grand? Years ago, if I wanted to get an idea about what's going on, I could talk to our next-door neighbors and the 85-year-old World War II vet who lived across the street. Every weekday, just before 3 p.m., I'd be with all the other moms and dads at the front door of my son's elementary school, waiting for our kids to get out. Listening and talking to these folks didn't lead me to think I had my finger on the pulse beat of the nation, but at least I had an idea about what's going on in my little corner of the world. The information I gathered was firsthand. I didn't primarily get it from television, newspapers, magazines, or websites. I got it from listening to the people who lived in my city, in my neighborhood. Now we live in Canada. I can tell you all I know about the Great White North, but I don't know shit about what is going on in the U.S. I can call up a couple of people I know and get their take on current events, but it's their impression of what's going on. I don't have any firsthand knowledge about what appears to be a nationwide descent into full-blown madness. I know. When it comes to the news, if it bleeds, it leads, and all the networks are cashing in on this particularly bloody political train wreck. It's a very simple equation. The more people who watch, the more networks can charge for advertising. As CBS Chairman Les Moonves said, quote, it may not be good for America, but it's damn good for CBS. Man, who would have expected the ride we're all having right now? The money's rolling in, and this is fun. I've never seen anything like this. And this is going to be a very good year for us. Sorry, it's a terrible thing to say, but bring it on, Donald. Keep going. End quote. When the media pours over $2 billion into covering Donald Trump, you know they're getting a solid gold take-it-to-the-bank, Jack, return on that investment. Otherwise, they wouldn't continue to do it. So click around Google, and you'll find this. According to Jonathan Swan, writing for TheHill.com, the Koch brothers hate Donald Trump. Quote, they're always very hesitant to get involved in a primary, but I think if they were going to do it, this would be the time because they just hate the guy, end quote, said a donor who attended the Koch network's winter retreat. The Koch brothers hope Trump's campaign tanks so they can avoid spending any of their network's $889 million 2016 cycle budget against him. The billionaire Koch brothers, big tobacco, and wealthy U.S. families and their business interests spent millions of dollars creating the Tea Party. But Debbie Dooley, so-called co-founder of the Tea Party, endorsed Donald Trump in January 2016, and the media has pumped over $2 billion and counting into making sure it's all Donald all the time, everywhere. So I just have to wonder, what the fuck is going on down there? The Tea Party has turned its financiers and big media The Tea Party has turned against its financiers, and big media is bankrolling the Koch brothers' nemesis. Why do I feel so goddamn uneasy? Because I don't know how many crazy, stupid people there are. Using Google as an oracle is pretty stupid, but I did it anyway. Do you trust what's written at Vox.com? If so, then you'll be interested in what Andrew Prokop, Josh Putnam, and Sarah Fortenson wrote on March 15th. Quote, if current trends continue, Donald Trump will clinch the nomination, but not until June, end quote. Henry Enton and Nate Silver from 538.com ask and answer the question, will Trump clinch the GOP nomination before the convention? We don't know, but our survey of delegate experts suggests it'll be close, end quote. Timothy Stanley wrote this editorial for CNN.com. Face it, Trump on course for nomination. Tyler Durden from ZeroHedge.com writes, here's the math. Trump almost certain to win Republican nomination before convention. Jeff Nesbitt at U.S. News and World Report writes, get ready to say President Trump. The November election will come down to 7 states, and Trump holds the advantage. After clicking around and reading for a couple of hours, I realized I was completely wrong when I wrote, the amazing Criswell predicts. I said Trump was just in the race to skim off the campaign slush money and was ultimately going to take a dive. I forgot to factor in a very important component, the curse of the ambitious moron. Ambitious stupidity is the most dangerous type of stupidity because it spreads like wildfire. And Donald Trump is the rich, ambitious moron poster boy. He could actually be delusional enough to think he could be president. And with enough crazy, stupid people backing him, he can. My neighbors know more about American politics than most Americans know about Canadian politics. They've seen the U.S. elect George W. Bush twice. It's not a huge stretch for them to imagine millions of crazy, stupid Americans electing President Donald Trump. They logically think if Americans are stupid enough to vote for Bush, they're certainly capable of voting for Trump. I can't argue against their conclusion because I'm here, not there. I don't know how many crazy, stupid people there are. I don't know if Hillary hatred has been factored into the polls. I do know Republicans who would stay home and sit on their hands on Election Day if Bernie was the Democratic candidate. But in the foulest weather imaginable, they'll boil out of their houses and line up in droves just to vote against Hillary. Rational people like Amy Goodman from Democracy Now!, Media Matters' Angelo Carasone, and a host of sane media people have all made cogent analyses of the dangers of a Trump candidacy. But those messages are denied or ignored by the majority of voters. The media continue to fuel the most dangerous candidate in American history. They do it for profit, while simultaneously enforcing a media-wide blackout on Bernie Sanders, the only person capable of defeating Trump. The anxiety dream turns on a dime into a very bad dream. All the nightmarish components are coalescing. Slowly, we seem inexorably drawn toward exactly where we don't want to be. Warnings have zero impact. Every ignominious action that would crash and burn a candidate in prior campaign propels Trump poll numbers higher. Not all natural laws have been abrogated, but up is certainly starting to feel more like down or sideways. If you watch television, you can see Mussolini and his black shirts coming into the arena. If you blink, the picture distorts and rapidly turns into Hitler, leading his militia of brown shirts onto the field. But this is America, you think to yourself. They're not supposed to be here. Why are they here and how did they get here? And then you see the mobs everywhere. Mussolini, Hitler, Trump is welcomed by mobs. Just under the surface of America, there were always such mobs waiting. They needed permission to crawl out into the daylight to meet their master, because master and minion alike, they all thirst for strange blood. The mobs need permission to drink. Granted. Quote, I don't know if I'm dreaming when I sleep or sleeping while I'm awake, but I have recurring dreams my mind cannot take. Stanley Victor Pascovich. Regards, Bob. Another Moment with Bob, brought to you by your friends at Offshore Drilling and Mountaintop Removal, Inc.